What's up, everybody? I'm Jeremy, and you're watching Warfels Morse. This week's guest, we've got Brian Kusko back, folks. I'm super excited to have Brian back on the channel. I'm sure you guys probably all are excited as well. If I seem a little out of it, I'm exhausted. Absolutely exhausted from bending my first show this weekend. It was a complete slap of reality to the face that it's not just all fun and games, standing all day. Yeah, my legs burn. I'm gonna put it that way. I'm exhausted. I'm tired, but I'm excited to have Brian on. It was an exciting day period, so having Brian on just puts it's the icing on the cake, folks. So let's bring him on. What's up, Brian?
What's up, man? I got confused for half a second because when I first jumped in, I thought we were already live, and I already told you my whole life story. I got nothing. I got nothing left.
You're good, dude. You're good, bro. No problem. Brian, everybody is on the same page. He's a little on the tired side too, so you're gonna have to bear with us if we're a little. I don't know. I don't want to say slow, but I'm gonna say I'll be slow. I'm being completely honest.
I'll say that when I start to get tired like this, I start to get a little punchy. It can actually get a bit more, or probably a lot more entertaining. And sometimes I come up with some of my best material when I'm like this. So we'll see what happens.
Ooh, all right, folks. You hear that? All right, we're in for a good one then. So, all right, Brian, we're just going to jump into it. Since we're on a slight time frame again, I know you want to spend time with your family. My daughter's been missing me like crazy all weekend, apparently. My wife actually brought her out to the show because she didn't get to see me all day Friday, basically. She didn't get to see me all day today until she brought her out. The second I grabbed her, she just like face up to my cheek and would not move. She was not letting go of old dad.
That's the best, dude. That is the best feeling.
Dude, it is. It was so I had no idea they were coming. No idea at all. I look down, I see this little girl, blonde hair, and it's like, that looks like Hadley. And then I see my wife hiding behind my buddy's banner because her red hair gave it away. I was like, when did you guys decide to drive an hour out to Gettysburg show and like come see me? It's like, it was the greatest surprise. Actually, almost made me cry. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it was it touched a heartstring on that one. But
oh yeah, I know that one. I know that one well.
It was a pleasant surprise. She definitely misses her daddy. So, with everything being the way it was for you being able to give us an hour, it actually works out perfect, bro. So I'm just happy you're on here with us.
Sweet. Thanks.
So, all right. Tell us about the partnership you have with Morph Market and some of the awesome features that Morph Market has right now. And maybe you know of something that's coming out in the near future.
I'd need to defer to John as far as what I'm allowed to talk about that's coming out or not, because I'm not sure. Again, I'm not sure what I'm allowed to talk about as far as what hasn't come out yet and what is coming out soon. It is fun. I've got their banner up there next to that's my usual backdrop. I'm kind of just facing the other way because of whatever reason today, but that's a new, anybody that watches the channel knows that Morph Market has become a recent sponsor, which is awesome because I stayed exclusively Freedom Reader sponsorship for, oh man, how long has it been now? It's been years. And I've been blessed to be offered lots of different sponsorship opportunities from all kinds of different companies, and it just never felt right. And Morph Market was different because Morph Market was similar to Freedom Reader in the fact that I had already been doing business with them for a long time, before a sponsorship thing even came up. I already really believed in the company and believed like the family aspect of Freedom Reader. And Morph Market, I had an account with them basically since they started in, I think it was 2015 when they launched Morph Market, and I've had an account since then, and I've always liked what they're doing. And the times I met John, I was like, he seems like a really, really cool guy, and I like the way he operates. And he brought it up actually. Funny thing is, yeah, it's interesting. I'm sorry, I'm having a moment here to myself in my head.
No, you're good, dude. You're good.
The timing of it was really cool. On more levels than just there's a whole host of different reasons why that I'm realizing now the timing of this sponsorship was really, really special in terms of what was going on in my life. Because he brought it up at October, but Lucky Stone, I clam up more when I get tired. They get entertaining, but I don't say things that I'm not supposed to, especially if I know that I'm not supposed to. Well, now when it comes to stuff about myself, that's when some of that stuff comes out. Maybe I shouldn't have said. But as far as other people's stuff, that just gets locked down tighter. I was just reading. I was just reading off of a thing. I'm curious which. So Will's Hello He's. I'm not sure how much like the new format of Morph Market. I mean, it is easier, but I hate change. Oh, he's just hates change. Easier. I feel like that would be a positive thing. It's easier to use. I hate it. those don't go together for some reason. I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. This is really easy to use now. I just can't stand it.
I think it's that whole learning curve. It's relearning the menus. And I mean, I haven't noticed any for the amount of what I use it for. Like, I haven't gone into the extent of using it as all the stuff you've been explaining in some of your videos. I've been meaning to try to start to implement some of those new I'm drawing a blank on the word I want to use.
I'm pretty excited about some of the new features, especially the abilities of, especially the offspring feature where you can have your pairing already up there, and then once you have the eggs, because you're like ahead of the game as far as what you need to do to list animals once they're hatched and get feeding. It's like you're doing all the work beforehand, like not waiting for animals to hatch like I used to, and then take all the pictures and get all the information. And it's like you just hit a button and it kind of auto generates a bunch of animals for you. And all you have to do is plug in what traits passed over, and then whether or not you want them to be for sale, and all that you can do step by step as you go along. And it's going to make my life a whole lot easier. I know that for sure, as far as keeping track of animals, just record keeping in general with all that stuff, and just being able to keep a backlog of all the animals I've ever produced, and how much I sold them for. Just all those little details that they're making easier, and the ability to like follow what somebody's doing. Like if a certain breeder, you're waiting for something, just seeing what they are going to be producing. Kind of like how Justin had it on his website. 5 years ago or so, he had that master list. The JKR master list of all it's like basically a Google spreadsheet or a whatever that program was, and you could kind of look at it and see what his projects were, and it was cool to be able to have a peek inside and be like, okay, here's what I can like expect to be able to potentially get from something he's producing down the line if it lines up. And now everybody has the ability to set something up like that without really trying much at all, and just they're making it real plug and play easy. And it's cool. And then they just like both these companies, Freedom Breeder and Morph Market, they both are big supporters of USARK and the shows, and they're just really giving back to the community in the spots that they should, I think. So I love that as well. Morph Market's no exception there. Platinum member of USARK. I don't even know how to become a platinum member of USARK. I'm assuming you got to do something big.
Is it big and lots of money? That's all I can say. I know I'm a bronze member. I want to bump up to the silver. I just got to start bringing in a little bit more money to afford the silver membership. Things around here are a little on the tight side, but it's one of those deals where, like, whenever, John, thank you, brother. I greatly appreciate that. I really
it's do. Getting $5 less tight. Rock and roll.
Yeah. Well, see, all right. Here's what with anything the YouTube channel makes, Brian. It goes into my ultrasound fund, because it's one of those things where I think it's a tool I really, really would like to have, and would make breeding a little bit easier. I could fine tune when to throw those males in, so that way they're not being worked as hard. Also catch some of the females at, I may not realize that they're actually building, and this would allow me to catch them at that point.
Totally.
So I decided YouTube was a means of income I didn't have, up until a couple months ago. So now it's like, what? That's the best way to put that money to use, is to go and get that ultrasound. And then after that, it's going to go towards like rats, or maybe even, here and there donating some extra money into USARK, stuff like that.
Cool. Yeah, ultrasound is a thing that I've thought about for a while, and I may or may not get one down the road, but I haven't got one. It certainly would do what you're hoping it would do. You can fine tune, everything you said that it would do. That I know that's what it would do. You can see if the follicles are building because when they're at that small size, when they're first starting to build, it's pretty hard to pick up with the palpation.
Yeah.
It can be done, but it's just not as plug and play as just being able to see are there follicles or not. So yeah, that would be. Yeah, I'm not at that point. The production is it's more hobby, as far as that goes for me. Fortunate to be working with some pretty cool genetics that make it profitable as far as that goes. So it's maybe not technically a hobby, but if I was locking it down and going full business with it, I'd definitely get an ultrasound,
Yeah.
100%.
See, I'm still super, super small. Like this year, I only had 3 clutches. I could have had 5, but 2 girls reabsorbed. And was that a deal with, was it just, it was what it was? Was it because I didn't do something at the right time? That's where I kind of started playing in my head with the, maybe the ultrasound might have been my missing link to getting those girls to go.
And what
like
makes you big? 3 clutches can be huge depending on what the clutches are.
Oh, they could be, yes. I
Could
mean,
be. I
for
mean,
me,
it's all matter of perspective. I mean, if you have 3 clutches and normals, then it's not going to be a big thing towards getting your ultrasound or anything like that. But you have 3 clutches of some crazy stuff. I mean, you're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars potentially. It just depends on what the
yeah,
clutches are.
like what I missed out on this year was my clutch of double het Exantic Desert Ghosts, and Bumblebee, or it would have been Banana Het Clown stuff. But the missing the double het DG Exantic stuff really, really hurt because that's a project I'm super passionate about. Is my Exantic stuff, and Desert Ghost just takes Exantic to a whole new level.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Yeah, how many clutches to produce this next season? We're certainly headed into, like you said, it was a little tight. It made me think about how it's gonna be a little tighter for most folks, I think. Then, I mean, especially compared to how the COVID boom was in this industry, and how everybody during COVID, it seemed in the reptile breeding business seemed to have like their best year ever. I think that's the theme I was definitely hearing from lots of folks. Like, this is my best year I've ever had. Period. And we're headed into a time where it might be the opposite, where people are like, "This is the worst year I've ever had." And so, how do you do that? I saw Justin put out a couple of little snippets of the stuff he releases on his Patreon as far as business tips and stuff, and I think he nailed it. I think he maybe gave away too much if he really wanted people to sign up for the Patreon to get the information. His little clips he put out were pretty insightful, even if they're just little 1-minute clips. I thought, as far as what to
No,
focus on.
what were they on those clips? Were they on Instagram?
Instagram, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to go back and check those out because I completely missed those then.
yeah, they're good. They're really, I mean, Justin is a real professional guy, and he's always been wanting to help out. I learned a lot just by watching his videos when I first was assigned to breed ball pythons, and he's always really awesome about putting information out there for people to look at and learn, whether it was just like charts based on how he breeds or does his season, or the breeding 101 stuff. But the market's probably headed to a place where people are going to need to hunker down a little bit more, and it's not going to be just snakes flying off the shelf for like it was during COVID. And tightening down on your pairings, and that was one of the things he mentioned, which I definitely agreed with, was like just focusing on your really important projects and not just producing a bunch of snakes so you have a bunch of animals to feed that are maybe going to take take a bit longer to go than they would have initially at the past couple of years, and just
That
taking all that
makes
stuff.
that makes a
Taking all that
lot
stuff
of
into mind.
sense.
Yeah, so I might was already kind of taking it. That's why I agreed with it so much, because he said that, and I was like, oh, I was like kind of taking his advice before he even said it, which was kind of being a little more selective about what I'm pairing up this season, and not pairing every pair that I was maybe going to do. There's a few females in here that I would have paired if it was going to be gangbusters like it was during COVID, but since it's clearly not going that way, I'm just holding off and just let them take a break, let them get a little bigger, and just narrow down the projects a little more.
Yeah.
I'm answering a question you didn't ask right now, but
dude, no, I love it. Like, I love this aspect of lives. I feel like you and we can just kind of sit here and BS until the cows come home, in all honesty. Now, what are some of the
Clistia Robinson down there leaving a comment. She's awesome. She's like first person to comment on like all of my videos on every single platform, whether it's the Whiskey Channel or Triple B TV. She's in there with awesomeness, just supporting. Thank you, Clistia. Kiddos and Hillary are great, especially compared to me. They're up there having a great. They're up there feeling fully energized, and they're having a blast. They took the dogs to the park, and sorry, Jeremy, you're about to ask a question.
No, you're good, because I'm off. I'm actually wanted to bring that up because I wanted to know, how's Hillary feeling? How's everything going baby wise? Because I'm in the same boat as you with my wife being pregnant as well.
Yeah, no, congratulations, man.
Thank you.
She's much better than she was during the first trimester. She's like she's working out again and like has her energy back, and she's back to being Hillary, where the last few months she was kind of, she was still Hillary, but she was just struggling. She was struggling.
No, I get that. It's been a little rough over here for my wife. She went to the hospital 2 weekends ago, I think. She was having bad stomach pains and just wasn't feeling right. And here she just wasn't drinking enough water. And the baby was just laying at a really goofy angle and just putting pressure on things that didn't feel so good, I guess. But luckily, nothing major. It's just, she's due in February, so she's starting to get a little uncomfortable with how everything's doing, and
all the physical stuff is happening now. Yeah.
Yes. Like she said the other day, she goes, he grew, and I thought she would like. She said, your son grew. Now I have a 15-year-old son as well, and I thought she was talking about my 15-year-old son. I was like, wow, you barely saw him today. How do you know he grew? And she goes, no, not that one, you idiot. It's like, oh, well, sorry.
Yeah, you're about a month before us.
Okay, so you're doing March then.
Yeah.
Nice. What day?
The specific day is, it's either St. Patrick's Day or the day after. It's right around there. But the funny thing is, Hillary. Wow, do you see that? I just had one of those moments, when like the computer freezes and all the audio gets all like, I did that in reality. So Noah and Leia were both born on the same day, and this next baby could potentially be born on that same day.
Nice.
So we may have 3 babies with the same birthday, which would be crazy.
See, that's awesome because Dom.
I'm not sure how they feel about
it. My son Dom was born April 10th. My daughter Hadley was born May 10th. So it's the same day, just different month. That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, no, they'd be the same day.
Oh, same day.
Same day of the year. Yeah.
Okay.
So March 20th. They would all be on March 20th.
Oh, like they were like exact day and month.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like when birthday time comes around, it's the same day. We're gonna have a birthday party. It's got to be for everybody.
Wow, that's a big party. Yeah, I could. Being a kid, that would kind of, I could maybe see on how that'd be like, it's my day, but yeah.
We'll see how it progresses. We'll see how it progresses. Yeah. I mean, it's not really as special if you got to share it with somebody, right? It's not, it's my birthday today. We're doing what I want. Yeah. Me too.
Join the club. Annie says, hi, brother in Christ. What's up, Annie?
Hey, Annie.
Tonight. Let's see here. Everybody, I'm trying to keep up with the comments, but I might.
I'm not monitoring them at all. I know there's a way I can do this, but I don't know. I've lost the buttons.
Kalista says my son is going to be 17 this coming up Monday. Nice, congratulations. I'm scared to have my son start driving. I'm scared to death of it.
Mm.
I remember me driving and how I thought I didn't need any help I knew at all. I'm scared.
Yeah, that's a big one. That's a big one. It's it's pretty wild to think about the level of responsibilities that some of the laws. I will say some of the laws in our country are a little strange. I'm not sure. I think they were bent more towards money and profit than uh, common sense and reality. Like just the fact that just the ages that you're allowed to do certain things. Like if you train right for it, I guess I don't know. It's just like 16, and then you can just go kill people on the road like GTA style. Um,
Yeah,
I mean, obviously you're not supposed to do that, but cars are dangerous. it's
cars are dangerous,
You could
and
take people out, man. I mean,
yeah,
you're worried about having a gun. That you could take. I don't know. I don't know. It's like why 16, why 18? It's just interesting to me like the numbers. Like, all right, you're 18. Now you can do all this stuff because of one day has gone by. It reminded me of the day that they decided to let they banned the masks on airplanes for COVID. It's like April 18th. All right, but April 17th, keep them on. Keep them on April 7th. Don't you take that mask off. Okay, it's tomorrow. Go ahead, everybody take them off. It's stuff like that just blows my mind. I realize all these things are run by humans, so it makes sense that it's a little wacky, but it still blows my mind sometimes. Like to make sense common, it's almost not sensical, if that makes sense.
no, dude, I totally agree with you on that one. I don't understand
That
why.
was a tough statement to agree with. I'm going to see how many statements I can get you to agree with. Hold on.
Dude, I mean, I get it though, because it's like there's that like why is it that at this at one age, okay, you're responsible enough to do this, but you can't do that? Like you can go like 18, you can go join the military, fight for our country. You can't have a beer though. You can't do that, but stupid things. I know like the drinking aspect is not really important, folks, but it's the fact that you can go over, you can die for your country, you can fight for your country. You can't have a beer though.
Right. Even though that's not, I mean, there's so many people that have their beer well before 21.
Oh yeah,
Uh, Not so
but
many people that I know.
legally.
You're right. That's what I mean. Yeah. The common sense parts of the laws that get moved aside is like, yeah, just the numbers. It doesn't make sense to me. And you can't, I guess you can't and that's why I'm saying common sense has to be sometimes nonsensical because what works for one person is not going to work for another person necessarily. Like some people should probably never drink. Some
Yes.
people are maybe responsible enough to start when they're 16. You know, maybe you shouldn't physiologically until you're like 25 and your frontal lobe finishes developing, and then that's when it's probably makes the most sense for a person to actually start engaging in those activities once they've fully formed, that whole center of their brain that's responsible for making good decisions. But again, that's different. That varies from person to person, and you can't really set a standard based on individual fluctuations, individual fluctuating reality traits. Wow, words.
You're good,
There's a
bro.
lot
You're
of them out
good,
there. There's a lot of words out there. Sometimes I like
dude.
to try and put them together in fun ways that even challenge my own brain. I'm sure it's challenging for everybody else listening to them as well.
See, I love like with your videos and stuff, your insight on life and how you just go about like how can I put it? Um, I just love how you go about. I don't even know how to word it. I'm not gonna lie. I
I'm
just like
rubbing
how
off
you
on
go
you.
about putting it out there, bro. I do. Like you put it out there at a really good level and like you don't come off very controversial about it, but you're like, here's how it is type of deal. If that makes any
I'll
sense.
contradict. I'll contradict the crap out of myself though. You give me a chance. It'll happen. I promise.
Let's see. Tammy says her son isn't driving yet. He will eventually. Well, yeah. I remember my first car was a 97 Camaro RS, and my family thought I was going to kill myself in it. I didn't, luckily, but I did get hit. That car got totaled. Then a drunk driver hit me in my next Camaro. That got totaled. Then I realized I probably shouldn't have a Camaro.
I just hope to instill enough sense in my kids to not let the group mentality so they can stand strong in the face of group mentality, because a boy, especially boys, this is very true of boys. I know this because I am one. A boy by himself is pretty reasonable. Even a couple, a couple of boys that have a little plan. Let's do this, and this is going to be awesome. You get like 4 or 5 boys together, it's dangerous. I mean, I'm talking about teenagers. I'm talking like age 14 to 20, and maybe a little beyond there sometimes for some folks. But you get 4 or 5 of those together. Oh man, it's like you're playing with the lowest common denominator. Who's going to do the stupidest thing? We're all going to do that.
Yes.
So I hope to instill enough character in my boys that when it comes to a moment like that, they can be like, you know what? That's pretty stupid. We shouldn't do that. If you guys are going to do that, you guys can go do that without me.
Yeah.
I would love for that to happen. I'm going to try and do everything in my power to instill that in the boys. Whether part of that is letting them feel the effects of poor decisions now when they can bounce off of concrete a little easier than when you get a little older and heavier. Yeah, things like that. Just when they start driving, just they have enough sense. Like, okay, we're not going to see how fast we can go towards this, I don't know, dirt field and slide side. That sounds like a lot of fun. Actually, no.
But don't go do it though. Don't do it.
Really fast. And no, dirt field seems okay. Yeah, we go out to a big dirt parking lot and get sideways. That sounds great. Just maybe not on the street, around a corner, where there's people standing by.
No, I know I did some really stupid stuff. Like you said, like you had said about teenagers and making really stupid decisions. One night, I was supposed to be staying at my buddy's house, or at least I thought, and he's told his mom he was going to be staying at my house.
Classic.
So neither one of us could really go to the other house.
Oh yeah, I've been
because we weren't supposed to be there. So our idiot teenager minds came up with a great idea. Well, let's walk several miles in the dark to a town that's, I'm going to say it was probably, I don't know, 6-7 miles, maybe probably like 5-6 miles away in the dark, middle of the night, to go get Coke from a Coke machine that had them for sale for like 25 cents. My buddy was obsessed with 25-cent Cokes from this place. So that's what we did. Got picked up by the cops part way there. The cop took us to our destination, which just happened to be at a laundromat, and told us we were supposed to go in and call our parents. So meanwhile, I'm crapping a brick. He's already given up. He's like, we walk in, he goes, okay, I'm going to call my mom. I was like, dude, your mom thinks you're at my house. I was like, she's going to kill you, dude. And my mom thinks I'm at your house. So if I call my mom, she's going to kill me. He goes, okay, so what do you suggest? I was like, I got it. So we're going to sit here. We're going to act like we call our parents. We're going to sit here and wait in the laundromat for the cop to leave. And then we were going to leave said laundromat and run our asses out of town and take all sorts of different back roads home where there should be no cops. Worst decision of.
Oh yeah, I hear you. I've got 2 stories that line up with that. Those 2 separate stories. The one with the folks, not being home. I told my parents to stay at my buddy Ben's house because he said it's fine because my mom's not going to be here, so you can definitely come stay. And then that was all squared away. And then turned out she didn't leave. He's like, oh, she didn't leave, so we can't go there. It's like, oh. And so we just went out to the high school and just like crashed on the bleachers. But the horrible thing about that is I remember I woke up with like in the middle of the night with crazy diarrhea and just basically hung it off one of the bleachers and just like let it go. It was gnarly. That was the short one. But then the other one with going traveling a long distance, I had my parents' car one night, and my buddies and I thought it'd be a great idea to drive way out in the middle of this field on the edge of town, which is about 6 or 7 miles out of town. And we drive way out there. It's this little front wheel drive Hyundai Excel manual transmission thing. And we get out in the field, and we're sitting there. We're drinking a few High Lifes, whatever, Miller High Life 32s, and we're done. It gets a little later. It's probably like, I don't know, 11 at night or something. We're like, okay, let's pack it in. Let's get out of here. We go to drive, and the wheels just, and we just sink into the mud in this field because it had, been raining. And we're out there, just like, we're not going, we're trying to push it. We're trying to put stuff under the wheels. Like we're dug in. We're not going anywhere. So, and we're on the edge of town. Luckily I had a AAA card, and there was some businesses nearby. So we went over to like the little industrial complex, and there were some people inside cleaning. And so we were just kind of knocking on the door like, hey, and they wouldn't open the door because it was out in the middle edge of town. And it was dark. It was nighttime, and they didn't speak any English, either, the people cleaning. And so we're like communicating through the little mail slot, like, hey, can you please? And we like give them the AAA card through the mail slot, and like finally communicate with them that what's going on. Like they need to tell them where we're at, and we need a tow truck. And we successfully somehow make that happen. Get our car back. We wait about an hour and a half later. Tow truck shows up and says, "Oh, there's no way I can drive out in that field. I'll just get stuck too. I can't drive out there. You need a different truck that has like the long winch that can just winch out there and attach to you guys and pull you out without having to drive out there. This is the wrong kind of truck." And we're like, oh, dude. And at this point, it's like, 1 in the morning, just like, we go back over to that industrial complex. Those people are still cleaning and knock. And this time they're like, okay, these guys are like trying to rob us or something like this. They're on their, like, they got their feelers up. These kids are up to no good, and we shouldn't trust them. But we still convince them that, no, we just need you to call again. If do the same, they put the AAA card through the little mail slot, and they go and call again, and we go sit and wait for an hour and a half. And at this point, we're like, dude, this tow truck's not coming. It's just not coming. And I don't think it ever did. So we had our skateboards at least, and we're like, all right, let's go. We're gonna leave the car in the middle of the field and just skateboard, 6-7 miles back home, and just lots of hills and really rough ground. We skated all that way. We're dead tired. We're like a half mile from home, coming down this little drive, Portola, and it's super rough road. And just like, you're riding on a skateboard, and it's just the road hasn't been paved since like the 70s. It's just like,
yeah,
you just like feel like your whole body's being vibrated. And we're rolling down there almost home, and this cop pulls up next to us, just like, hey, what are you guys? And I just looked over, and I was like, my buddies still tell the story. They say, they're like, you like Jedi mind trick that cop, they think. I was like, dude, we just skated from Greenville. We're almost home. Leave us alone. And the cop goes, he says, oh, sorry, rolls his window up and just strikes off.
That's even. I used to skateboard years ago, and a lot of our roads, or the one road I used to skateboard on a lot, was tarred and chipped a lot. So it was really rough, like you were saying there. So I can kind of envision what you're describing there with the road, because it was just like a ride on a cheese grater, basically. If you fell off, it was a cheese grater.
Oh yeah, that's exactly the type of road I'm talking about.
Oh shoot, dude, that's a great
days.
That there is a great story, dude. That I like that one.
Oh man, that was the mild one too. That was one of the more mild ones.
The funny thing is, I told my mom all these stories like oh god, it would have been probably when I hit about 30-ish, like late 20s, early 30s is when I told her all these funny, great, amazing stories that I had that she had no idea about. And
there's a few I still haven't told my folks. There's a couple out there. I'm like, they just don't need to. They could probably guess that some maybe, but I mean, some of it got pretty gnarly around our neighborhood sometimes, man. Like pretty ridiculous, like potentially life-ending and changing stuff that. just better off that they didn't know that it actually got to that level, you know, or just for their like. There's no need at this point. Like we all
Yeah.
made it here. We're all adults now. We got kids of our own. We don't need to let you know. They already know how many times it came really close. We don't need to go over every single story. I think, at least that's maybe it'll come up at some point. I don't know. I think I've done enough to my parents. They don't need to relive like things that they didn't know about.
Was the best part for me was when I was telling my mom these things, my brother was there. And then my brother started chiming in with things that he did, which my mom, like her jaw hit the floor because she never pictured my brother being the one to do any of this stuff. Like he was not the type of kid that you would expect to be doing like throwing parties when she went out of town for like a weekend or something like that, and people like getting drunk and always drowning in the pool. Like she was horrified by these stories he was telling her. And I'm just sitting there like, yep, you thought I was bad. It's like, look at him.
Sometimes I'm mind blown by the stuff they didn't know was happening. You know, in hindsight, like you didn't know that that was happening. Like, and it gives me confidence as a parent myself because to their credit, they grew up a little bit more sheltered in some respects, I guess. Not that they weren't super sheltered, but to not know some of these things although I don't know, when my kids are getting older, maybe there'll be some things that we never would have imagined would come up. But I have the confidence of being through enough stuff to kind of be able to know, like, oh,
Yeah.
like just look at listen to one of their friends talk and be like, I know who you are. I knew you when I was growing up.
You can kind of see through the smoke that they might be throwing down to throw you off guard. I get you on
Yeah,
that.
they come in the door. If their pupils look a certain way, I'll know exactly what drug they're on. You know what I mean?
That's like, oh God, what was it? The one my son thought he was fooling me about having a girlfriend. I don't know why he thought he had to hide it from me. I mean, it is what it is, I mean, I remember being a 15-year-old boy, but he'd wait to talk to her till like 11, 12 o'clock at night. And I'd go upstairs, I'd go to game or something, and I'd be hearing him on the phone, but he'd be like trying to be really quiet. And the one day I told him, I was like, Dom, was like, you know, why are you talking so late to your girlfriend? Like, you just talk to her at a normal time. You don't have to like wait till you think I'm in bed. He goes, I don't have a girlfriend. Say, okay, whatever. I'm there thinking, who else are you talking to that late at night, that low of tone? So one day at work, I was texting him. I forget what I was asking him, and he was responding back. And then a couple minutes later, he sends me this, babe, why aren't you talking to me about this or something with babe in the mix of it? And I'm there like, wait, what? And I sent him a text back. I was like, think you got the wrong person, son. He goes, oops. It was like, Dad called it off the start. Yes.
I'd love to get to a spot where my kids are. I just love to keep that open dialogue going. I'm sure that's a lot of parents' dreams and hopes is that they could keep an open dialogue with their kids through everything. I feel like I've done pretty well with Noah so far about him knowing that he can talk to me about anything, no matter what it is. But he probably doesn't feel that way. But I'd love for that dialogue to be able to just come with me with anything. I should be the person they could talk to about whatever it is they might be going through or what struggles that are out there. And if I don't create that, then I feel like I'll be failing as a parent. So I'm hoping to be able to create that space that they feel they can come to me with any of the really life challenging problems or good stuff too, or stuff like a girlfriend. That's maybe a little more embarrassing. I can understand that being like, I don't know. Maybe no matter what cultivation you make between your relationship with you and your boy, maybe that's one of the ones where it's like, oh yeah, this is my girlfriend, my dad. That's a weird. We don't need to mix that right now.
The best part is that this girl would watch my live streams like all the time, and I couldn't figure out who this person was because she was on here and then she was commenting on my Instagram stuff, but she was the only person that was friends with my son through on Instagram that we had in common. And that's kind of another thing that got me like thinking into this a little bit, and it was just funny. He goes, "Oh yeah, she loves you." It's like, I don't even know who she is. Oh, she knows you. Okay, whatever, boy, you got it. But no, I always told him, it's like, just talk to me, whatever it is. Even if you think you can't talk to me about it, talk to me about it. It's like, chances are I've either experienced it or have some slight insight that I can help you with it.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
teenagers, it goes in one ear and out the other, and yeah. But he is a
Yeah.
good kid.
And
I'll
then
give him.
they might go through some stuff that you didn't. That's what I was kind of checking myself. Is like, maybe he's going to have some stuff come up that I've never been through, that hadn't experienced. I mean, I definitely had that stuff for my folks, that I definitely went through some stuff that they never had experienced in their life. I know that for a fact. So how do you process that with somebody?
That's true. And with how much the times have changed, even in just say 10 years, I totally can believe that. He's good dealing with some stuff that if you would have told me about it years ago, I probably would have thought, yeah, no way.
Yeah, I mean, just like the internet. I mean, I've got it now, but I never had to deal with what the internet brings as a kid. I was already in high school when the internet like hit the population.
Yeah.
So, going through middle school with like social media, I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to. I haven't figured out where we're going to be with that, because I mean, our kids don't have phones yet. I think that would be personally, I think that would be ridiculous for them to have phones already. My oldest is 9. That seems like it
Yeah,
would be.
that's too
So
early in
I
my
just don't
opinion.
know. I don't know when though. I don't know when would be the right time, and how much to let them in. That's what I'm thinking. Uh, just to instill good this good foundation of having a strong mind in whatever is thrown at you by the world, that you can come at it in a responsible way. So I don't have to limit and be like, okay, you can have a phone now, but you're not going to have access to this or this or this. I don't know where that line is to draw for my kids. I didn't get a phone until I was in my mid-20s.
I see phones weren't really portable very much for us until about 8, or at least for me. I think I got my first cell phone at 18, 19, something like that. And it was like a singular wireless flip phone. That was back when Singular wasn't with AT&T and all that stuff. Because I'm 35, and I think you're a little bit older than me, but not by much, though, if I'm not mistaken, Brian.
I have a few years. I'm 41.
Okay. Yep, you got me a little bit, but so yeah, you put that probably would have been about lining up then with the age there in the phone stuff.
Yeah, because I was like 23. So, yep,
All right,
yep.
let's get back to snakes. Everybody's there thinking, "Oh my God, he's got." I love talking off topic stuff. I think it's great stuff. And also, before we move off of it, I also want to say, dude, I don't think you have to worry about um I don't think you have to worry about your kids. Like you see, like just the little bit that I get from watching your videos and how you're bringing them up and getting them involved with like the gospel stuff. I think that makes a huge impact, and I think that's one thing that does lead to the lack of it is what leads to a lot of bad things
Mm.
to go. I
I,
don't want to say to go on, but you know what I mean. I think
I
that's a
agree.
big
Yeah,
thing
I agree.
to ex- expose your children into, and whether or not if they want to follow along with it in the future, that is what it is. But I know, like we used to go to church when I was a kid. Uh, I got to the point where I didn't really necessarily want to go to church as an adult or even as a teenager, but I, all those values I still try to, I do hold dear, and I try my best to live by them. I mean, we're all human and we all make mistakes and screw up, but I think it's a good foundation to
That's
have and
part of the
instead.
gospel.
Yes.
Yeah, we got a solid community out here, which is awesome. It's kind of what I was praying for, and it's a really solid community folks, lots of families and awesome kids. A lot of the families out here, a lot of same age kids, some solid stuff happening out here on the Central Coast of California, man. I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
Pretty incredible. Blessed to be part of it.
I've missed your last couple videos, so I'm sure there's probably stuff that I have missed that I really should watch. So I do have to play catch up on your stuff. I'm not gonna lie, this week has been like massively crazy. Actually, the past couple of weeks have been crazy. They've been flying by. 419, give me a second to pop into the live stream through YouTube, so then that way I can make you blue. There's extra noise here. I apologize from commercials, everybody. All right, there we go. 419
commercials.
There we go. You should be blue now, Glenn. All right, back to snakes though. What are your thoughts on the best animal assortment for doing the educational shows that you're doing, like your roaming reptiles? And the thing like how Brian Gundy does. What are, in your opinion, some of the best animals to use for those? Because that's something I'm looking at getting into in the future.
Well, I got to have a nice little blend of seeing the different ways that can be successful with it, because I got to learn from two folks who do it very differently, both here in California. Brian being one of them. I've been to a couple of his shows in person, and then of course Brandon, Roaming Reptiles. I went to several of his shows to see how he did it, and there's so many different ways you can and be successful at it at the same time. Brian is of the less is more type of mindset, and he'll bring, I think like a handful of ball pythons, a blue-tongued skink, sometimes a tegu, and a big Burmese python.
So yeah, he says he lets the berm be like the big, basically the big bang, the big wow factor.
Mm-hmm. And he does that. He shows them. He lets the kids, kind of the end of every show. It's like a big party, a bunch of animals on the table, and kids walking around. And he's worked with those animals long enough. He can just, they just sit there. It's amazing. These animals just sit on the table. Kids can come around, pet them, and the animals are just like, "Yep, I'm here on this table. Let's just do this. Let's hang out. Come touch me, kids." And it's pretty crazy. It's pretty amazing to witness. Like, wow, he's got these animals in a spot where they're like, "This is what we do. We sit on this table, and these kids come
to do it."
Yeah, whereas Brandon would do each individual animal throughout the show, and he had a bunch of different animals, and that's what I kind of adopted that, because that's what I was taking over Roaming Reptiles, because I wanted to stay on brand with what he was doing as far as the flow and bringing out one animal at a time and calling up a few kids from the audience at a time to check them out and have turns holding them or petting them while explaining them. And we had a bunch, a lot more than Brian brings. I'd like to start with a couple snakes. They're my favorite. That was how I would always start, because that was my own personal. It's like, I love snakes more than any other animal that I'm showing here today, so I'm going to bring more of those than anything else.
Yeah.
Start with like an indigo snake. Have a ball python for, if there's a kid that's just, because some kids, you got to read the kids too. A lot of it is just being able to work with kids, I think, and understand that they're just kids, and not expect too much out of them, and then know the age groups you're dealing with as well. It's a big factor, especially when we're doing a school show, and throughout the course of the day, you're going from everywhere from kindergarten up to middle schoolers, maybe even high schoolers, and everybody's got a different approach. Some of the little kids, like, you don't need to go get so sciencey, and just, you got to be a little more careful with them and cautious and helping them handle the animals if they're going to be coming up and handling. Whereas the older kids maybe know more than you about a certain species, and just roll with that and be flexible. But you could do either or. I didn't say all the animals, but let's see, it's because there was a lot. I mean, bring like 12 different species when I was doing it. Okay, so the snakes, crested gecko, a couple different type of lizards. Crested gecko, tegu, leopard gecko, tarantula, Madagascar, the hissing cockroaches, turtle, a tortoise, a really small snake. I used to do a little trick where I'd take a small snake and put it in a really big box. Like, you guys ever seen a python and like act like I'm taking like struggling to get this box out from under the table, big old tub, and I pull it out and there's a children's python. It's like a little baby children's python. It's like,
Well,
and then I
it
have
looks
another
like a
box.
worm, basically.
I'm like, I got another python, and I open it up, take out my biggest retic, and so yeah, that was a good haul, and it works well to have a lot of animals. It's reading the crowd too. There's a lot of performance to it. If the natives are getting restless, you don't want to get eaten alive.
Yeah.
You gotta know when to keep it moving and what to do, how to call attention back. It's more than just what animals you're bringing, is my point, I think. It's reading your audience, and Brian pulls it off really well. The way he is, he's so calm, and he just has a way of calming people down and just being real smooth. He just needs a few animals, and his shows roll off like butter. Whereas I definitely felt like,
I'm sorry,
I definitely felt like having more animals, like kind of leaning more on like having a different variety of species, so I could keep their interest, without having to lean too heavily on being smooth and creamy.
See, I think Brian's got that. He's got that. He just flows like he's I don't know how to put it. He's like just such a genuine, easy-going guy.
I've heard a lot of people say the Bob Ross of reptiles, which they're not off, I don't think.
That's a good way of putting it. That is a good way of putting it. I like the way you put that there. That is very true. Yes.
Big snake is awesome. You see Lady Tiss Exotic saying you need a retake. There's a big snake is pretty sweet, especially one that you work with like Halo, who's just a gentle. I've had more people. I haven't done too many shows out in a bit. I've done a handful, but more I've been having people come by the house, families and stuff, checking out the snake room and checking out the snakes. And it's really cool to hear people who had no interaction with snakes before hang out with a big retic like that and come away telling. So there's a group I go to, meets up once a month, and it's like a bunch of guys are trying to figure out how to incorporate God's kingdom into their secular workplace. And to hear one of the guys at that meeting talk about how he viewed snakes before he came to the house and afterwards, to where you can see them as such a gentle and just like really just change somebody's mind about snakes, and have them go and share how different they were after coming here. That's cool. And a big snake can do that. You got a big giant retic that's just like blowing somebody away like they've never seen a snake anywhere near that size in their life, and it's just calm and gentle. It's pretty cool.
Well, all right, you'll probably laugh at this. Today was the first time I've ever held a retic at all, a baby or an adult. Now, what I held was, I can show off the picture here real quick. It was supposed to be an adult male, and I'd say he was probably close to, I don't know. Let me put me on the big screen here real quick. I don't know. I'm gonna say maybe.
Can you go sideways or just get closer? I was trying to see if I can call out the. Oh, it's like a platinum or something.
Yeah, I don't know the exact morph of it. I know the thing was beautiful, but the lady had said it was an adult male, and that he was basically done growing.
Okay, yeah, that could very well be.
And because like Nicole's one of my very, very good friends, and I've always told her, I got on her case about carpet pythons because she always said that my one carpet python looked like it wanted to eat her. And I'm like, you have these big retics, and you're afraid of this like carpet python that's like a 16th of one of your retics. So I had to let her know that, hey, look, I finally held a retic. And she goes, you liked it, didn't you? It's like, yeah, I really did. I mean, like they're big enough, at least the male there. He was big enough that you knew you were holding on to a real snake. But he was so gentle and just slow moving. It was like it's just a different experience. it was kind of like mixing a ball python and a carpet python together, as far as, they like to move, but they were just very slow and gentle with how he went about doing it. So after experiencing that, I'm not gonna lie, folks, I might possibly debate about getting a male retic in the future. I definitely want to do more research on it. Probably, I don't want to get it something that's going to get it huge. I'd probably go like the dwarf or the super dwarf route, just to kind of stay on that smaller spectrum.
If you do that, I would say get a female, especially if you're considering like dwarf or super dwarf. Then I know you're thinking male because of size wise, right? And that's something
Yeah.
you consider for a mainland, I would say, because the mainlands can get pretty big, where the male can still get huge. It depends on how you feed them as they're growing up. A male mainland could get huge, but if you get a dwarf or super dwarf, why I say female is because the bigger snakes tend to be a bit more confident, in my experience. The
Okay.
males can be. I mean, not that you can't have one that's more chill, but in my experience, the bigger females come with confidence once they get bigger, and that's all the really gentle snakes that I really really trust with kids are females,
Okay.
as far as the big snakes go, and that's just because of how the temperament I've noticed in the difference between a male and a female. Not that there's not that there aren't outliers in any case, but just generally speaking, from what I've seen, the females have a confidence that the males don't.
Okay. That makes
Totally
sense,
anecdotal.
though. I get that. That makes sense, because that's something like with like the carpets. Everybody, like, they're nippy as babies for the most part, but as they get that size, as they get that age, then it's like a switch gets flipped on them, and like one day they just decide, hey, you're not out to kill me or eat me, and I'm okay. Like, they start viewing things differently, it seems. So I totally get that. Or at least I'll put it this way: with my one female carpet, a switch got flipped on her. She went from trying to kill me every time and biting me left and right to one day, hey, you're an okay guy.
Oh man, it's great when that happens with anything, not just an animal. Yeah, yeah, that's a great feeling. Like, oh, okay, we made a breakthrough.
Yes.
It's no longer a hate relationship, and we see eye to eye finally.
Yes. Now getting her out of the enclosure, she's still a little, a little spicy. Still, you gotta, move nice and easy with her. But she comes out a lot easier, and there's no more bites. Knock on wood. Don't want to jinx it. Them snakes just can't be trusted. They're not. Phil, good to see you, Phil. It was awesome seeing you at the show today, bro. Um, I know what I want to ask you. You said about the turtle that you work with. Is that still the box turtle you have?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. I didn't know if you still had that one or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Stevie.
Okay. Is he? You still have, like, he still lives outside and all that good stuff with the?
No, I've got the turtle. It's a box turtle. I've got him inside here.
Okay, I thought you had built an outside enclosure or something.
I did. The tortoise enclosure is outside. Yeah.
Okay, okay, all right. So I just got things a little flip flopped. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's a box turtle tortoise.
Okay. Which of your retics are you using for your shows? Are you using Halo, or do you, like, specifically, or do you use a different one?
I generally bring either Halo or Betsy Ross. Betsy Ross is the biggest. Halo is the most gentle, and I've taken Betsy Ross more often because I know I can trust her, but because at this point thousands of kids have handled and touched her. But she has this little, just a slight twitch, like sometimes when you touch her, I'm way over here. She has like a little twitch that
Okay.
she has, which, and I think my mentality behind bringing her more often than Halo. It's not a twitch that like she's never struck at anybody or bit anybody ever. It's just more of like she just doesn't, if you touch her a little, sometimes she's just like, oh, what's that? Like, oh, why is that touching me there? And just does a little one of those. So I'm a little more protective of Halo. I think, like, I've taken her to a few shows and I like to let kids hang out with her, but not everybody's kid was raised with manners. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
sometimes you get a kid that's like, okay, let's not, grab the face. And I just don't want to subject Halo to that as much because she's really special to me, and I don't want her to. Uh, I mean, there's a stress level for certain for these animals, and they've grown up around us. So they're good, and they put up with it well. But every time I'm done with the show with Betsy, I have her out for like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, absolute tops. But at the end of that 10, 15 minutes, she's like, put me back in my box. You know what I mean? I did it works like a charm every time. You guys want to see a magic trick? I'm like, all right, let's put her down. And then she'll go and like crawl in the box and like, take me back home.
I'm done, Dad. I'm done.
We don't even have to put a lid on. Every watch, it happens every time. She just crawls up in the big bin, and, curls herself up in there, and it's just like it just sits in there with the lid off. Just like, put the lid back on, please. Every single time. It's incredible.
That's funny. I'd love to see that. Do you use sangria at all for the shows? Because I think the blood python would be really impressive. Or like,
I brought her to a couple things. I brought her to our Turtle Club meetings, to a Turtle Club meeting one time because this is all reptile lovers, and although some people are still afraid of snakes, at the Turtle Club. But she's particular. She's calm. I mean, if she knows you, like, she's cool. But if there's somebody that she's not feeling, like, she'll randomly, she'll like try to strike at somebody. If somebody walks by, she's done it, but only out in those situations. So I don't, and I'm pretty sure she's gravid too. That looks like a gravid snake to me.
Baby,
that's gotta be some big old eggs up in that sucker right there.
She is just gorgeous, dude. I miss having a blood python.
There's got to be some big old eggs up in that right there.
How long is she? She's got to be close to 6 foot.
She's a pretty decently long snake.
She's a big girl.
Maybe about 6.
She's probably pushing it, dude. I bet you she's probably pushing it.
Somewhere along there. It's hard to tell because she's so fat and sausagey. Sorry, girl.
She is gorgeous, man. Oh my goodness.
Where's a paper towel? Why is there not one close to me?
I just tell my buddy Chris today that I would, if I get a blood again, I want to get a Sumatran short tail with the chrome head.
There's some big old eggs in there.
Nice.
And I could tell just by looking, but it's nice to feel that thunk, thunk,
yep,
thunk, just like gravidness confirmed.
Now, when they ovulate, do they blow up like a ball python, or do you not really notice it as much since they are so big to begin with?
I mean, that's a good question because sometimes they do look huge. But I mean, the crazy thing that I noticed with her, at least, is that when she goes into her pre-lay shed, and sometimes even the pre-ovulation shed, it is this insane shed, like this insane blueness level, where she looks like a zombie. Like it's crazy. Like this part of her head that is. Sorry, girl. She's like, I'm gravid. Leave me alone. This part of her head that is super black, or dark, that will be white.
Oh,
I mean, like white, like opaque, like one of the not Freedom Breeder Gray Tub, but like one of the opaque ones. It's like almost white looking, and she just looks like she got spray painted with like gray and white. It's just the gnarliest shed I've ever seen. Like she looks like a ghost, and she doesn't do that on regular shed cycles, but when she's gravid, I've noticed then the shed cycle, it's just intense. And there is an ovulation swell as well, but I'm being called upstairs for dinner.
No, you're good. I was gonna say we're at that hour point, so I was gonna say if you want to keep going, we can. But if you want to hop off and get to your family, I totally understand with that, bro. So
Yeah, I
we
got
will let
the
you go. I want to thank you, sir, for giving us another hour of your time. I greatly appreciate it, and it is a pleasure having you on, Brian.
yeah. Thanks for having me on, man. I always like our conversations, man. It's just chill. You know, just kind of chill and
Yeah.
hang out. It's cool. I dig it.
Thank you, dude. And hopefully, like, if you get the chance to come back out to PA again, hit me up, dude. I want to come out and hang out with you and Garrett and
Yep,
go
that'll happen at
surfing
some
or do
point.
something.
It's gonna be. I'm hoping for, let's say, next October to do our
Okay.
thing that we used to do, our little Tinley trip. You know, I'd come out there and then I'd drive out with him to Tinley. So that would be nice to do that come this next October Tinley.
Okay. Awesome. Well, definitely hit me up, dude, and I'll try to stay in touch with you as well because you're a cool person to get sit down, talk to, and your insight and on just life in general. I think I could learn so much from you as well, just to be a better person in general. So I mean
Thanks,
that
Jeremy. I
too.
appreciate that, man. Thank you, bro.
So thank you, sir, and you have a wonderful supper. Tell Hillary and the kids I said hello, and I good luck with the baby on the way, dude.
Thanks, man. Thanks. It's gonna be fun.
All right, dude. Thank you so much. And
Yeah, dude.
everybody, I'm going to keep
Thanks,
going for a
everybody.
little bit yet, but Brian, thank you so much again for coming on. All right, everybody. So I'll run this show for a little bit more. I'm exhausted though. I actually had a couple more things to go over with Brian, but you know what? Hey, I'm excited that he gave us an hour of his time again to come on and just hang out with us. Um, I want to I know I'm really late on going through the chat stuff. I, wanted to try to make use of the time with Brian. Nicole, what's going on? Thank you for tuning in. Ryan from Smitty Serpents, what's up, dude? I got your Instagram message. Awesome. I gotta make the thumbnails and all that stuff, but I'm looking forward to it, bro, for having you on next week. JKR, thank you for tuning in. New face, I'm always excited to have new people in the chat. Kalista, thank you as well for tuning in. It's a pleasure having you on. Eric, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Thomas, what's going on, bro? Good to see you. Glenn, what's up, bro? Thank you for tuning in. John from Inquiline, what's up, dude? Thank you for tuning in. Everybody, if you would like to know how to get one of those awesome little emblems next to John's name, that you get that with becoming a member on our YouTube Patreon. There's like 3 different tiers. I will drop the link down below here in the chat. You can click on that. There's like 3 different tiers you can choose from. It's a way to support the channel. On top of, you get some neat perks the higher up on the tier you go. I think the top tier is like $9, $10, something like that. But you get some really awesome perks. Paul, Large Marge Morse, thank you for tuning in. They are our newest member, I do believe, if I recall. Thank you, Paul, for joining the Patreon as well. But yeah, and I'll be doing everybody that's on the upper tier there. I will be doing our monthly live the very last week of November because I'm off that week. So I just got to pick a day and we can just basically do it whenever, in all honesty. So I'm really excited to, talk to you guys about that. I'm going to go over some like the pairings and stuff I got going on. You might get to see the sneak peek at the things I got that I shouldn't have got at the Gettysburg Reptile Expo. I thought I was, sold some stuff. Thought, hey, all right, let's mouse the feed, and then I just added what I sold right back to the collection. So, yeah, that's just all part of the hobby. No problem, Callista. I said it once already. I apologize, Kalista. Thank you for tuning in tonight. I greatly appreciate it. Yeah, I'll probably we'll go over some pairings. If you guys have any questions as well about pairings and all that stuff during that members only live, we'll go over that, all that good stuff. There's some exciting things going on here. I don't know if anybody noticed. Watch me. Here we go. But There's 2 carpets in there. So that's our boy in with Xena. They still have not locked yet, sadly. They like to cuddle a lot, but you know, it's a start. He's new to everything. She's new to everything. It might still be a month or so early. Um, but everybody that I've talked to, basically the fact that they're crawling over each other, they've curled up in the balls with one another. All that stuff is very very good. Signs. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we can nail our first carpet clutch this season because it'll just send me over that'll just put icing on my 2023 season off the start. Getting babies from that because I want to produce baby carpets so bad. Let's see here. I always say if you're in the hobby, you are either rich or broke. Yes, that's very true, JKR. Very, very true. Yeah, there's really not one. You're really never on that. You're 9 times out of 10, I'd say you're probably on the broke spectrum, unless you do it for a living, like Justin or the Billies of the world. Then you might be on the richer end, but you're still probably dumping an awful lot back into everything. So yeah, I totally get that and agree with that. Let's do picks of the week, everybody. I didn't do that with Brian just because I wanted to try to make use of the time. And in all honesty, we just got the going on with those topics, and we kind of just ran with it. But let's do picks of the week. And first off, we're gonna start off with this awesome guy. Let me put myself on here. I don't like that screen. There we go. That's better. This is from GS Reptiles, and this is a 75% reduced pattern diamond python. That thing is gorgeous. Diamond's just another locale of carpet, basically. So beautiful, beautiful snake. Diamond's like carpet's like I don't want to say a higher temp, but diamond pythons like at a lot cooler temp, so it makes them a little bit more difficult to keep, from my understanding. But those things are freaking beautiful. That there is one of the reasons why I love carpet pythons. Next pick of the week. I probably should save this for the very last pick, but I'm going to screw up the name of the people here. It's Milbrandt Capone. I really screwed that up. I apologize. But yes, it is Milbrandt Pythons here. I apologize for butchering that. This VPI Exantic Enchi Calico Het DG. There again, Calico and Exantic, very nice combination to throw together. Everybody knows I am one of those Exantic everythings. I saw so many snakes this weekend or today that I would love to see an Exantic. JKR, I will get to your question here in a minute. Just let me finish up with the picks of the week. I got one more. And for the last one is from Osman Reptiles. This is a super GHI clown het pied. I just love the darkness of it. I love how the you can tell it's a clown, but that GHI pattern is so strong that it almost doesn't look clown. Absolutely beautiful, beautiful snake, though. Loving that. So congrats to Osman Reptiles for that beauty. And that is it for my picks of the week, folks. All right, JKR, what was my first pet snake? My first pet snake, oh God, it was long, long ago, but it was a normal ball python. Neat story aspect to it was the house that my parents had owned years before I was even thought of is where we bought the snake from. Apparently, after they had moved out of it, it had changed hands a few times, and a reptile house went in it, which it was really neat. It's probably about the only one around at the time. But all they did was they had just had reptiles. We went in there, I got my very first snake from a house that my parents used to live in. So that was kind of really, really cool. Neat little spin to it. My mom and dad always said, they couldn't believe that they'd ever have a son that owned a snake. And now look at them. Now look at me. I've not only own them, but I breed them. And I just love it. I was at a show all day today. You'd think I'd be tired of talking snakes, but you know what? I'm just happy to be able to sit down now and talk snakes. Let's see here. Ball pythons, the doodles of the snake world. They came in every color and just as expensive. Yeah. Oh, that's kind of gay. Oh wait, how do you feed them? All of my stuff is on, for the most part, it's on frozen thawed rats. So I have a freezer that has rats in, frozen in there. Um, on feed day, I just pull the rats out, thaw them out in the room for a couple of hours, let them, basically get that aroma of rodents in the room, and then I warm them, put them in Ziploc bags together, put them in some hot water from just like the bathtub. Just kind of let them heat up in that, and then go through, use, hold them with feeding tongs, and basically, as my brother so elegantly put it, make the dead rat dance. Um, it's simple, easy, but it's you know sometimes you gotta feed live. I prefer to do the frozen thawed. It's easier for me. Who's my favorite? Oh, see, all right, now that's a hard one. Favorite snake, I have to go with my girl Xena, which she's the big one. That's actually she's that one right there. Favorite snake in general, it's gotta be Xena, hands down. Now, favorite ball python, that becomes a very hard pick just because there's so many for different reasons that I like. Um, it would be really hard to pick a favorite out of the ball pythons right now. Once I produce a visual exantic, it's going to be hands down the visual exantic, but it's going to be a little bit tough until then. Um, I just like so many of them. If anybody has, yeah, that's a good way to put it, JKR. A very good way to put it. The favorite snake is the one that you're holding at the moment. It's kind of one of those. You have like the favorite snake of the day for me. Um, Different days, one will pop off to me a little bit more than the other. Um, so a little update. Yeah, that's very true, Rob. Yes, yes. So a little quick catch up. If anybody missed it, go check out the short little interviews I did about the Gettysburg Reptile Expo. I know the expo itself is over, but you get to see some nice eye candies from some awesome breeders during that. I also filmed a little bit today. I didn't film as much as I wanted to. I had lined up like 4 or 5 people, and the show was that crazy, folks, that I think I only got 3 of them, maybe 3. And then it was basically the show was over, and it just, uh, you know, everybody was ready to go home. I had to pack up quick and leave the show to get here because the show ended at 4. Um, the live stream obviously starts at 8. So I rushed home. We grabbed KFC on the way, got home quick. It's like an hour long drive. So got home at like a little bit after 6, 8 quick, unpacked the snakes, and basically that was it. Got ready for the live, and then here we are. So I still gotta have a whole lot of stuff to unpack yet. Yes, Macchiato is cool. We actually sold one of her, yeah, just one of her babies today. It was really neat. One of her babies went to a guy I worked with years and years ago, like I'm gonna say 15 years. Oh, not 15, 14 years ago, roughly. I worked with this guy. Um, and it was a neat honor and privilege to have him now own one of the snakes that I produce. So it was really cool to see him and catch up a little bit. Um, we've got some awesome pairings going on as well. I'll be doing a pairing video on that stuff here soon, just to show off, what's going on here, so that way you guys can kind of start getting the wheels turning and making some wish lists possibly. Well, I'll tell you this much: we've got like 1, 2, 3, possibly 4 Exantic pairings. So I will no longer just be the guy that says Exantic everything and has no Exantics. Hopefully, uh, we hit some visual stuff this year. A lot of awesome stuff this year. Also doing a repeat pairing of my GHI Mojave to my passed up banana girl, go because everybody loved those bananas from that first pairing there, and just trying to see if I can't hit that banana GHI Mojave again that everybody has been trying to get off of me. So hopefully I can produce 1 or 2, maybe more of those, and help appease some of the people that would love to have one. Rob, it was crowded. I was talking to Joe's wife just to get kind of see how they thought that the show was going from previous, and she had thought that they had doubled their attendance, so that was really neat. I mean, the show was packed the whole day basically. That I didn't even get to leave to go to the bathroom until shoot like 3 o'clock. Like it was like yeah, my feet started hurting like 2-3 hours in maybe, and I think they got to the point where they hurt that much that they went numb. And Dom was there helping me. He was a big help. He also took a lot of crap from Danny as well, but Dom had some fun. I got a picture of him sleeping on the job, but he did good. He did good. I was really proud of him. He had a blast, I think. He he probably thinks it was really boring. I had fun with him though. It was good to have him out there with me. Let's see here. What else? We got 2 new pickups as well, like I said. So that will I'll be having a pickup video coming up as well. This week's video, I don't even know. Let me even see what I have here in the vault, and maybe I'll let you guys decide. Well, I would like to do the video of the expo stuff, but let me see what I have in the vault here. I've got another pickup video that probably should be out very, very soon just because of how old the video is itself. I kept putting off putting this video out. I've got a clutch update of number 3, and then I've got some more informational videos like getting females back on food, hatchling setups, that type of deal. So if you guys have any input on what you would like to see come out, just let me know. Yeah, Rob. Yeah, like hold on. I'm gonna embarrass my son. He'll probably like look at me like, "Really, Dad? Come on!" But like, he never ceases to amaze me. At like he can fall. He's like me. He can fall asleep anywhere, and he's just like completely passed out. That was like 8. I don't know. I don't even. The show had maybe just started, and he was already sleeping. It was fun having him though. We gave Danny a bunch of crap as usual. He did have his Yoo-Hoo on hand. He had to drink 2 Yoo-Hoos for good luck. We just had a blast. We will be vending at the next Gettysburg show. So if you didn't get a chance to come out and see us, definitely come out and check out the next show. We will be there again. It was just great to meet a whole bunch of yous. I know Rob is great meeting you. There's just a whole bunch of you that came out and said hi. It was a great honor to get to meet some of you. It's really cool. It's one of those deals where I don't like throwing around the word celebrity because I don't view myself as that, but it gives you this when people come out that say, oh, hey, I watch your YouTube channel. You're doing really good. It gives you that feeling of appreciation that you can't describe it. It's one of the most awesome feelings that I've ever experienced, in all honesty. So I greatly appreciate all your support, everybody. And it's just like I still I just I don't know. I'm still warming up to being at the level where I'm at on YouTube. JKR, thank you. You're so kind on that. The real celebrity was Brian Kusko. That man is a celebrity now, in my opinion. But yeah, I have to put out the new list for who's going to be on next Sunday, November 20th. It's going to be Ryan of Smitty Serpents. He will be here with me. That's going to be a great show. On November 27th, I have King Austin again, and he will be here, folks. I'm going to pester him like from now till the show to make sure he doesn't forget this time. But Austin will be on. I have to get all those thumbnails and stuff made up tomorrow. But so that way you guys can see that. And then December, I have a whole bunch of people on deck. Now, the big thing is I haven't booked anybody for December yet. And there's a big reason why. And I can't exactly tell you who I'm trying to get on. But all I can tell you is that the person I'm trying to get on, I've decided to let the whole month open for them to try to, that way I have the best chance possible of getting them to come on. If I could get this person to come on, it would not only be a huge honor, but it would probably be one of the highlights of my YouTube career having this individual on. So I will just let it at that. And I thought that, you know what, I hate saying it'd be like a Christmas present for you guys, but in a sense, I think it's a small token of my appreciation for all your support to try to get this person to come on, because I think we would all greatly enjoy and just enjoy every minute that this person could give us. Will Danny ever get back on now that he is getting out of balls for Krusty? Well, Rob, I'll tell you what. I saw Danny is quite the businessman. I have noticed. Danny bought some Krusties today and then sold those Krusties and then went out and bought more of the same Krusties that he just sold, along with buying some tanks off of me. And then after I told him that, like, I was surprised. I took a 20 or 220s and I took a 40-gallon, glass tanks that I didn't have any use for. And one of them sold before the show started. Two of them, the 40 and the 20, were sitting there, a little bit after that. I ran into Danny as I was running through the show before it actually started. And he said, "Hey, I want those 2 tanks." Okay, awesome. So marked them, sold. Those tanks sat there for 3/4 of the show of people coming up. Oh, darn, like they were looking for tanks. The prices were, I priced them to sell. I'm not going to lie. I put $20 for the 20-gallon and I think it was 40 or $50 for the 40-gallon. So they were priced to move. I did not want to have to take those suckers back home. I don't know if I would have had room to take all of them home because it took 2 trips, because the 40 basically took up the whole back seat portion of my pickup. So I didn't want to have to take them home. So that, priced them to move. Danny bought them, and after me telling him about all these people that were so disappointed about these tanks not being for sale, he goes, puts them up, remarks them for sale, and he sells them off my table again. So I was like, I'll be damned. Like, Danny has a mind for business, folks. I gotta give Danny credit where credit is due, and he's got an amazing mind for business. So, Danny, if you're watching, dude, it was a pleasure watching you work your magic this weekend, bro. You've definitely got the touch. You've got the touch, dude. And then here is, we all love Danny. Here's Danny with his Yoo-hoo. It's good luck, Yoo-hoo. Yeah, basically, yeah. It was basically the Petco $1 a gallon sale. Yep, that's exactly how I figured it. So you know what? $1 a gallon. We're gonna move these suckers quick. Now I should have some like 240s for the next show. Excuse me. Ugh, pardon me. I should have 240s for the next show, hopefully. I've just got to get the carpets into PVC enclosures, and I've been meaning to do that all year, and I know it does not help me when I keep buying, or when I keep flip-flopping money around back into snakes. But wait till you guys see these 2 new pickups. I'm excited for them. Yeah. If you've watched, Actually, I didn't get to put John and Christine on the thing. No, I didn't get to put John and Christine from Triforce Morse. I didn't get to do an interview with them this weekend, sadly. I wanted to. I meant to. Time just, it was crazy. Their table was busy all day long. They probably wouldn't have had the time to do it anyway. Um, but it was just a crazy show. I didn't realize how late it was. It was like 3 o'clock till I realized, shoot, I've got to go do interviews because the show's about to end. So I was running through, doing all that stuff. I got one, two, three, four, maybe something like that. I think it was like 4 interviews, maybe 3 interviews. I can't remember. Today is a blur. But anyway, I just want to put this out there for anybody that wants to do super chats or join the membership thing, the YouTube Patreon. Here's the link for the YouTube Patreon if you would like to check that out. And also, any super chats, all that stuff goes towards um, my ultrasound fund. So all the support is greatly appreciated on that. We're slowly crawling towards that. I think your average ultrasound for the contact that I'm looking at, I think it's like 1200 bucks, something like that. We're crawling towards it, but hey, slow and steady wins the race, folks. Slow and steady wins the race, in my opinion. So excited to, start. We're getting there. We're making progress, slow and steady. Um, what's up, Cat Eyes? Thank you for tuning in tonight. So, does anybody have any questions for me before we call it a night? I know everybody's probably thinking, well, good grief, here, because actually like an hour, like this is like a halftime show, basically. Um, what's up, Wayne? Thanks for tuning in. Like I said, today was busy. I'm functioning off of 4 hours of sleep. If you guys didn't check it out, the video I posted last night for um, basically like a little pre-show view of some of the stuff that was going to be at the expo. Till I got home, because we all went out to eat after we all got set up. Went out to eat. I thought my phone was uploading all that stuff to the iCloud, and apparently it didn't start doing that because it paused because of me. I kept filming stuff throughout that evening, and so I didn't realize that until I was partway home. I checked it, and it said that the download was paused. So I thought, it's like, really, come on. So till I got home, um, until all that stuff got downloaded, till I went and edited the video, saved it so that way I could upload it. Needless to say, it was like 1 o'clock till I got to bed, and then I was back up at like 5. So yeah, it was a very short night. I'm tired. Um, Hadley Kara brought Hadley out to the Reptile Expo. Did not have any idea that they were doing that. Paul, thank you very much for tuning in. I greatly appreciate all your support, bro. Um, I I didn't know that Kara was going to bring Hadley out, and I was telling Brian this backstage. Um, or maybe I brought it up on the channel like during the live. I can't remember. If I brought it up during live, I do apologize. Um, but I was standing there and I see this little girl, blonde hair, looked exactly like Hadley, and I'm there thinking, it's like, oh, what are the odds that there's this little girl that looks exactly like my daughter? Earlier, I had seen one that had like the same hairstyle, so my brain automatically thought, well, it's just that little girl. Then I saw my wife's red hair coming out from Danny's banner that like blocked the whole view of my table almost. Thanks, Danny. But anyway, and then it dawned on me, it's like, that is Hadley. So of course, that kind of struck a heart chord with old Dad, and it was neat that it meant a lot to me that Kara brought Hadley out to the show. Hadley absolutely loved it. You could tell she missed her old dad though, because when I picked her up, like, she instant cheek to cheek, and she was just talking to me and would not move her cheek from my cheek. She was latched on to daddy, and she just wanted to, you know, she wanted to stay there with daddy, and she wanted me to walk around, take her throughout the show. And it's like, oh, sweet. It's like, I can't. I gotta, watch my table here. Because especially right then, it was really busy. It seems like your busiest points are always when you want to go do something else real quick. Uh, Wayne, yes, it's. I catch myself sometimes like during lives, like I watch Xena sometimes. If you guys watch and notice that, like my eyes go somewhere weird, it's probably because I'm watching what's going on behind me, especially now that they're kind of like just crawling all over the place. Hopefully they lock up soon. I really want those baby carpets. Uh, JKR, something random saw a marmoset tiny monkey at a local pizza shop today. Yeah. So I've not seen a monkey with somebody for a while around here. Yeah, Rob. Soon she'll be there at the shows vending. I know Kara had made the mention that she was thinking about maybe possibly coming to a show and bringing Hadley. Now, granted, the next show we would have the newest addition to the family, so that there would be a whole lot more challenging having a baby plus Hadley. Yeah, well, we'll see. Hadley will eventually, she will be at the shows with me because she loves the snakes, every aspect of it. Um, and I think a lot of everybody can agree the videos that she's in are definitely probably the most interesting videos out there, just because of that little added spice that girl adds to the live streams, or not the live streams, but the videos. Uh, nah, dude, it was great getting to talk to you today, dude. It was really fun. For a potential first time snake owner, would you suggest buying from an expo or online for their first snake? I would say, in all honesty, find yourself a local breeder at an expo. Excuse me. Reason being, um, one, they're more than, if they're at the expo, they're probably somewhat, decently local. Um, you can see the snake that you're getting firsthand, and you're not going basing anything off of pictures or word of mouth or anything like that. You're visually seeing that snake that you're going to, purchase. And if you have questions or anything like that, chances are, you'll get the contact info from the breeder at the show, and they're probably going to be very willing to, walk you through anything, talk to you about anything. I know there have been people like have gotten in touch with me, never purchased a snake from me, and they were asking me questions about the snake that they purchased from somebody else. Um, I'm not going to turn them away. So, of course, I helped them out, and answered their questions that they had as the best of my ability. But that's one of those deals where, I always prefer buying local. So then that way, uh, you support local breeders, local businesses, that type of stuff. Yes, Rob, that's a very good point. Morph Market, you can search for locations to find local breeders. That's a very good point. Thank you, dude. I forgot about that. But yes, you can do that, JKR. Check out Morph Market and find your local breeders. Um, so yeah, getting from a rescue, the rescue thought's a nice thought. Don't get me wrong. The issue arises where you could be getting a snake that more. You don't quote me on this. You are probably more likely to be getting a snake that could A, have health issues, B, have been neglected, that might have some, I don't want to say mental issues, but essentially some mental issues to where maybe they're not the most pleasant to handle or work with. Um, there's just, I don't know. I mean, there's nothing wrong with taking in a snake from a rescue. I personally would rather get from a breeder, excuse me, and raise from like a hatchling baby size, or even if you're getting like proven breeder stuff, that's fine. But I would really prefer getting it from a reputable breeder, or even I say reputable breeder loosely. That's one of those things where what do you consider a reputable breeder? Because someone just starting out, they could be a really good person, good intentions, awesome animals, and they're technically not reputable because they're just brand spanking new into the game and they're a new face. They're obviously not going to have the name, the brand recognition, and all that goes with years of producing animals. I know, like, there's a lot, like, look at me. I'm working now, going into my third season of doing this. Um, do I consider myself a reputable breeder? I did from day one, but that's because I know my standards. I stand behind all my stuff. So, you gotta be the one that finds that line, um, as to what do you consider reputable. Yeah, thank you, Rob. I totally agree. Um, and if you guys have any more questions for me tonight, I do apologize for cutting it short, though. But I kind of, when Brian said he could only do an hour, it's kind of like, okay, that really works out great for me tonight. as much as I enjoy doing the 3 hour, 2 hour lives, which I'm actually, folks, probably going to start cutting them back. I apologize. I need to get a better table. Um, it shakes too easy with this laptop. I'm probably going to start trying to cut the lives down to 2 hours for our, just for the lives, just because it gives me a little bit more time to go up and spend time with Kara or Hadley, or just kind of decompress a little bit from all the stuff that's been going crazy here lately. It just kind of gives me that away time from I can just disconnect. Um, I do sometimes. I just need that disconnect. Like, even down here, like if I'm down here, this is like or one of my places of nirvana. The snake room and the man cave are like my places of zen. But when I'm down here, I want to work, which is the problem, which becomes a problem to an extent. Um, when it comes to the snake stuff, I'm like, work, 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 work. I have that goal in front of me, and I do everything I can to hit that goal, and I strive for that gold medal, that top bar. And when I'm down here, that's all it is. I just work. I try to figure out ways to streamline things, do things better. And sometimes, you just got to take a slight break from it and just kind of level out for a little bit and give yourself a rest. Um, Buying from a good breeder comes with the experience and future help with any questions. Yes, totally agree, dude. Totally, totally agree. Thank you, Rob. I appreciate that, bro. I really do. I have to say, for anybody that does like the 2 day shows, kudos to you. You've got to have some strong legs. I think I'm gonna do like Eric from Drop Time told me, and go get one of those. He's got a mat that you can stand on that helps take some of the stress off of your feet. I think I'm gonna get one of those because, like I said, I think my feet were probably hurting really bad 2-3 hours in, and then they just kind of went numb after that. Either that or things got so crazy I just didn't notice that uh, they hurt anymore. JKR. Wish to gain experience handling snakes before my first pets. First pet. Any suggestions of being able to do that? Where are you located at, JKR? Just like, you don't need to give exact address, but just like location. Um, I would say, like, some of these reptile shows, you can get a little bit of experience handling stuff. I know some breeders get really weird and finicky about, just random people holding their stuff. Um, I had several people holding just random stuff. I knew for a fact that they probably more than likely weren't going to purchase, but it was just the fact of, a lot of them were kids, and it's like, okay, this is how you hook that next generation. And seeing their eyes light up, getting the bell that I had or the pied, it made it all worth it. Another positive of local breeder, can get food from them as well in a lot of cases, or that is very true. Yeah, if they're breeding their own stuff, you're right, Rob. For me, folks, sorry, you can't get any rats from me because I don't make my own rats. Look for local groups of stake owners. That's very good tip, Rob. Very, very good tip. Caesar, Chris is from Florida? I did not know that. Holy crap, that would be a long drive. Good grief. I know I got some footage of his stuff. I'll be doing um, a video. Like, I'm going to be constructing a new ad for the Gettysburg Reptile Expo. So there's going to be some awesome footage. Got a lot of some really nice footage of their awesome balloon sculpture for this year, which I gotta say it was badass, folks. It was absolutely freaking awesome. I loved it. When Joe said, "Hey," Joe's wife Gina actually came out and got me. They're like, she said, "Hey, Joe needs to see you out in the lobby." I thought, "Oh shoot, what did I screw up?" Like, I believe, like, I think she saw it in my eyes. Like, I had this, oh crap. You're like, what did I do? And she goes, no, 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 it's good, it's good. She goes, he just needs to see you out in the lobby. It's okay, you're good. So okay. So I go out there and I see this balloon sculpture and my jaw dropped. I was like, no way. This thing was freaking awesome. So stay tuned for that ad to come out. Not sure when he's going to want me to start airing the new ad. I'm going to have to, excuse me, I'm going to have to go through and, just kind of revamp it, go through, just basically redo a whole commercial, add in some of the new footage that I got. And it's going to be, it's going to be an awesome commercial coming up. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Central Texas, I tried to work with a programmer. If failed after 6 months, tried to keep things professional, boss. Okay, I gotcha. Um, yeah, I would say, know, try like local expo stuff. Start talking with other breeders. Um, make friends with anybody, local keepers. Try to do it that way, and just see how that goes. Um, Basically, if you're worried, like, are you more worried about the handling, or is like, are you worried about the husbandry stuff? Like, what has you more worried with that aspect, JKR? So if it's the handling aspect of it, I wouldn't really worry too much. Let the handling aspect of it be, you know, a I don't want to say a turn off to you, but snakes just kind of do what snakes do. I mean, you're going to pull them out and they're going to go where they want to go while you're holding them. It's just your job to hold, give them that surface to crawl on and over. Like husbandry stuff like that, there's plenty of help here in the chats. You can hit me up. You can join the YouTube Patreon thing. Our monthly live stream stuff like that. That's a good place to go. To get tips, all that stuff. I'm looking at taking. I'm going to try to figure out the Discord thing. I'm going to try to make a Discord for our group as well, since that was suggested. I can't talk. I apologize. Since that was suggested, having a Discord group, I thought that was actually a really good idea. So that's on my to-do list for the very last week of November if I don't get it done before, because I have the last week of November off into December. So that gives me a week, should be sufficient enough that I can hopefully accomplish something technologically advanced like that. Because let's face it, I'm not a tech savvy person, people. Not a tech savvy person at all. All right, so if you guys have any more questions for me at all, if not, we'll just wrap it up here and we'll call it a night. And then, like I said, this week's video, I'm going to do the Reptile Expo update, or not the update, but those interviews to show that stuff out or show that stuff off. And then we'll be back to some of the videos I've got logged in here. And now I've got to do the new pickup videos. And yeah, there's lots of videos to get covered. Handling, understanding behavior in the movement, and recognizing illness should they occur. Okay, that's something where you like messaging, like you can message me, join the our Patreon group here on YouTube. That'll be a good place for you as well. Or even like just stay tuned with the chats, like in these live streams, stuff like that. The videos I put out, the videos from other good YouTube breeders and stuff like that. That is where I've learned all of my stuff, basically. Having that very nice support group, especially being in with these with the live chats and stuff, you get a lot of it's around the same people, and they're an amazing group. We're all, I consider you guys all like family basically. So, it's a very close knit group. We're all there for everybody, and 9 times out of 10, if there's an issue that's arising, somebody in the chat, wait, somebody in the chat has probably experienced it or gone through it or has dealt with those symptoms, and they can give you their suggestion as to how they had to handle it. So all good ways to think about going. Like I said, I mean, I would not. Those are valid things as to be worried about. But if you just do your research and the handling aspect, that's that's you can do that no problem. Understanding the behavior, every snake is going to be a little bit different. They're going to act different. Xena acts a lot different than the male that's in with her, and those two both act a lot different than Lagatha, which is down below here in the bottom. um they're each snake is going to have its own personality. They're all going to act different. It's going to be one of those deals where, um how do I want to put it? It's like they're like people to an extent. Everybody's got their own set of their own personality, their own quirks, their own ticks, their own things that set them off. Snakes are the exact same way. Like Xena is Xena. She does not like you just going in there, grabbing her right in the cage. That will not go over well with her. You got to touch her with the hook. You got to rub her with the hook for a little bit. That way she knows we're not getting fed. You're going to come out. This is going to be a nice, easy, fun, enjoyable time. And, you got to get her moving a little bit. And then once you get her moving, then you can get her out, no problem. And the handling's just a dream with her now. YT Vents, what's up? Thanks for tuning in. You missed Brian. He was on for the first hour. We're actually going on 2 hours, folks, already. So, all right. I'm going to, Nicole, LOL. Don't be scared. You'll get bit, JK. It is not. If you do get bit, in all honesty, it is nothing. A lot of times you don't even know you got bit, or if you know you got bit, you'll sit back and think, well, what was I scared of for that? I think it's more of the shock factor that you did indeed get bit. It's not the ouch factor. It's a shock factor. Um, it does it. Taking a bite doesn't hurt. Now I had to I had to hold a blood python for Chris from BNS Reptilia today because it decided to poop on the ceiling of its enclosure that it was in for the show, and I had the pleasure of holding this blood python that had poop on its head. That was not the most happiest snake in the world. I had to hold that and keep it occupied while Chris got the enclosure cleaned up for it, or the display case, I should say. But needless to say, after a while of the snake watching Chris move, she started to not appreciate Chris moving around. She got a little nippy. She was striking at him. I didn't get bit though. Luckily, it's not like last time when he had me hold the boas and the little boa bit me for no reason at all. Like actually like latched onto my thumb. It's kind of like really. It's like what the heck is this? It was I don't know. It's just a random like I'm gonna bite you. Like, hum. Anyway, okay. I've been bit. I've had a king snake. I think it could eat my finger. Okay, if you've got something buzzing around in the room here. Sorry. If you've dealt with king snakes, you've like king snakes are very hyperactive in my opinion. So like ball pythons, all that stuff, you're set. I have no battle scars to show sad, just pictures and memories. I don't have any battle scars either. Trust me, don't feel bad. I don't think there's probably not many people that do have battle scars from any of their snakes. But anyway, all right, everybody, I'm going to call it a wrap for tonight. Like I said, next week, Sunday, we will be back on schedule with Sundays again. We have Ryan of Smitty Serpents joining us. It's going to be a great episode because I've been looking forward to have Ryan on the channel for basically a good while here. Holy crap, we actually have bots now again. Wow. That is the first time in a while we've had bots come up. But yeah, we have Ryan on, and then like I said, King Austin will be on the 27th. And we've got I'm gonna try to iron out if I can get the big guest of December on or not. And if I can't, then I'm going to start filling that up because I don't like cutting it this close. Thank you, Zach. I really appreciate all the support, dude. I really do. Thank you. So everybody, have a great night. I greatly appreciate all the support. I truly mean that. And again, I apologize for the short live, but I think we're going to start cutting it back down to 2 hours, like I said, just because it gives me a little bit of extra time just to decompress, spend time with the family, any of that stuff. So I greatly appreciate all of the support. And you guys have a wonderful night and a great rest of your weekend because I won't see you tomorrow now. The Saturday lives feel weird because I feel like Sundays are just completely like open and it's a weird feeling. It's just odd. I'm used to like Sundays being like my work day down here in the snake room. So it's gonna be a little bit of change of pace, but we'll be back to usual on next Sunday. So thank you everybody again for all the support. And don't forget to hit that like button for me. Hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed already. And also check out here, I'll drop the link one more time. Check out our YouTube Patreon, and hopefully there's something there that you think is worthwhile for you to help support the channel a little bit extra, and you get some nice perks out of it as well. That's true, Rob. I will try to catch Kent's channel, his live chat tomorrow, provided Kara does not put me to work. That is the key there. She was telling me how she has this huge list of all these to-do things, the honey-do list. So hopefully the honey-do list does not get too big, and I can at least take a break from the honey-do list. Let's go for that, the honey-do list break. But again, everybody, thank you so much for all the support. I greatly appreciate it, and I'll catch you later. See ya.